Alright, I want to do this video before I went to sleep. Hopefully my battery doesn't die. But I want to talk about what spirituality actually is. Um, a lot of people think that going to church um, is being spiritual. It helps in your spiritual game, but it doesn't define you as being spiritual just by going to church. It's not about burning incense. It's not about wearing your hair a certain way or wearing a certain type of clothes. It doesn't really matter. So you can be a punk rocker and still be spiritual. And what spirituality is the practice of doing what you know is right, even when it's not easy, right? And to take it a step further, and if you don't know what's right from wrong, it's doing what you know feels right, right? And not doing what you know feels wrong. That's what spirituality is. And you really can't prove it to anybody. You just have to do it for yourself. And it shows. You can't hide it, right? If you're spiritually weak, it shows. It manifests itself in different ways. And I'll give you a little analogy. If you go to a study session to study for a midterm, the study session alone is not going to guarantee you a good grade, right? You actually have to go home and practice and put in the man hours, correct? And that's kind of what church is. Church is kind of like the study session. It tells you what to do, and now you have to go out into the world and implement it. And that's what spirituality is. And I think sometimes we don't see this enough in the black community because we mistake spirituality for simply just believing in God. You can be an atheist and still be spiritual. Because if you take up all the religions and you talk about how they're different and how they're the same, you can probably conclude that if you have to sum it up, they'd probably all agree on the fact that one should always do what they know is right, whether it's easy or whether it's hard, right? So in a sense, you don't have to be Catholic, Christian, or whatever to still be spiritual. Look, if you know anybody who's extremely spiritual, just look at their life. Look at what they do. Right? It's not really about them talking. It's just about what they do and how they live their life. To the point where you might not even know you're a spiritual person, but others might notice that. And then it's what keeps you going. It's what fuels you. It's what helps you get through the tough times. And I'm really big on that. I'm really big. You meet new people, and you always talk about, where's your spiritual game at? And you get a lot of answers. But when you watch somebody and you're around somebody long enough, you know that's not the case. So let me know how you feel. If you have another definition of what it is, I would like to hear what it is. But honestly, that's what I think spirituality is. It's not really that hard. You don't need a lot of things to become spiritual. It's just a personal choice. Choosing to do what you know is right, even when it's hard, and even when it's extremely easy. And you don't fall back on the whole notion that, well, just because something's too hard, I don't have to do it, and I'll just ask for forgiveness. That's not being spiritual. So let me know how you feel.